quadratic regression, what we're going to do is first enter in our data, and this is statistics that we're doing, so you're going to hit the stat button to enter in your data, and you would edit to hit it in, to enter it in, and actually we want to make sure, see how this goes, everything goes to the hundredths place, so go ahead and do mode. Make sure you are on, you're floating out to the second decimal place. And then you can also come down here and turn your diagnostics on. Oh, mine is not going to do that, but you can do that if you go on yours. You'll be able to go down to where it says diagnostics and just turn it on. All right. Okay, so here we are. Now we're going to enter in the data. So I'll go stat, edit. We'll enter in all the data. Okay, so we have all the data entered. The paper is my independent variable, and what the cost depends on how much paper we're going to make. All right, and so that's my dependent variable. And now I'll go to stat and I'll calculate the regression here. And they told me in the question that it is a quadratic regression. So I know it's a quadratic regression, and I can come down to number 5. All right, I'll hit enter. And there is my data there. What you can also do when you hit calc is you can go down and store that in alpha trace. My calculator is not doing that. But you can store that so it will already be there in the y at y1. So if you go to y1, you'll see your equation there, and then you go up to plot and hit enter, and that way when you do zoom 9, you'll see the point, and then you would also see your equation there that you put in. All right, I'm going to have to put mine in by hand, but you should see yours. Okay, so there is the y equals, and there's our A, B, and C are entered in. And so now if I look at the graph, I can see there's my linear regression. It's just a line of best fit, except it's not a line, it's a parabola of best fit. And now we want to look at the minimum, find the vertex. So I can see the vertex is going to be down here, and that would be a minimum. All right, so I'm going to do a second trace. Number 3 is a minimum, and I've got to move that so I'm to the left of it, and then move it so I'm to the right of it, and then hit enter, and then that will tell me my minimum. So when x is equal to 6, that would be the minimum. So that would x is the paper, so 6,000 pounds of paper is what I would need to make here. All right, it says find the quadratic regression. All right, so that was number 5, because I know it's quadratic, and that would be y equals, and it was 0.75 x squared minus 9.00 x plus 50. All right, and then the vertex would be at 623, okay, according to the minimum, and so then that would correspond to 6,000 pounds. All right, because in our data here, each of these was 1,000 pounds, so 6 is going to be in here. All right, and that would be the minimum. All right, very good. And then now it says find the cost of producing 12,000 pounds of paper. So if I know I'm going to do 12,000 pounds of paper, that means X equals 12. All right, because the amount of paper, that was my independent variable, so X equals 12. So I'm going to put that into my function. So Y1 of 12, right? And let's see what that equals. That would be the cost. So if I do alpha trace and then put in 12, I will be able to see what that's going to be. Okay, my calculator doesn't do this alpha trace Y1. Well, I could do that, but, well, second bars, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so I could do alpha trace Y1, it'll say Y1, and then you put in 12, and you get 50, right? So to get 12,000 pounds of paper, the cost of that would be 50, right? And actually, that would be hundreds, right? So if I have 50 hundreds, that means that's actually 5,000, right? 50 hundreds, so that would be $5,000 in cost. Another way I could look at that is you can also do second trace the value and hit enter. And then I can do X equals 12 and hit enter, and it would tell me that that is 50. When I first did this, if it's off your chart, you can change the maximum value to whatever you want it to be using the window. Okay, so there's a couple ways to do that. And then now it says how much paper would result in $4,000 of production costs. Well, remember, Y is my production costs, right? So I want to know what is going to give me, what value, how much paper would give me if Y is equal to 40. Right, remember 4,000 is 40 hundred, so it would be Y2 is 40. And then if I look at the graph of that, all right, that's when Y2 is 40. So this intersection here, these are the two solutions I'm looking at. All right, those, I want these X values that would give me these production costs. So I'm going to do second trace, and that's an intersection, right? So number 5. And it's going to be one of the closest ones. So I'll go over towards this guy and hit enter, enter, enter. So that would be 1.24. All right, so 1.24. And then the other solution would be over here on the right. So I'm going to go second trace, number 5, that's an intersection. And I'm going to go over to the other one. All right, and I'll hit enter, enter, enter. And so 10.76 is my other solution. And now that's how much paper. So if you look at the units, that was 1,000, each of these was 1,000 pounds. So I've got to multiply by 1,000. So this actually would be, if I move this over 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So that would be 1,240 pounds. Would give me $4,000 of production costs. And also, if I move this one over 3 decimal places, that would be 10,760 pounds, would also cost me $4,000 to produce. Okay. So I could make a lot, I could make a little, and either way I'm going to spend $4,000. All right, so now here's the next one, and it's all the same. You're just going to enter in your data, stat, edit, stat, calc. To clear all the old data, you just go up to the L2 and then hit clear and then go down, and that makes it go away. So I'll go over here and go up, clear, and then go down, and that makes all that data go away. All right, and then I'll start entering in my 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. Okay, so the data is in, so now I'm going to do stat calc. And they tell me that it's a quadratic regression. So quadratic regression is number 5. And I'm going to hit enter. And you guys will be able to store, you can do second trace to store the variable, the equation, and you should do that. I'm going to type this in. Okay, so I've got my equation in there, and then I've got it on plot, so you arrow up so that if you want to see the equation with the points, you hit plot. And if I hit enter, it will go off. If I hit enter again, it goes on. It toggles on and off. So I want that to be on, all right, highlighted, so I can go zoom 9, and I'll be able to see my graph there. Ooh, I wonder, I have a outlier. I must have had a typo. Let me just check my data. Okay, so I did. I had a really big number by mistake. So now I'll go zoom 9, and I should be able to see. There's my data. Okay, and there's my parabola of best fit. Okay, and that's called a quadratic regression. It's kind of going between all the little points. And so I could write down that equation. And then if it says, what year are they the price is the lowest? Well, that would be a minimum, right? If it's the lowest. So that's the vertex, right? So I'll go second trace, minimum, number 3, hit enter. And I'm going to go left, enter, and then to the right, and hit enter. And then, oops, let's see, why is it doing that? Okay, so left bound would be to the left of the vertex, so I hit enter, and then right bound is to the right of the vertex, so I hit enter, and then enter. All right, so the minimum would be 5.34. But that's the years, right? And so here it says, actually, what is the question? Question is saying, yeah, what year were the sale prices the lowest? So I've got 5.34, so that would be like here, 5.34, right? And these are the years since 1988. So this would be 1988, right? Plus 0. This would be 1990, 94, and then this would be 95. Okay, I can take 1988 plus 5, right, and then that gives me 1993. Is that right? 88, 90, 94. Oh, no, that's 92, and then so this, yeah, this would be 1993. Would be my 5 years. Okay, all right, and if you want to be really specific, it would be the 5.34 years. Okay, so like March, right? Okay, as opposed to January. All right, very good. So there is that. And I'll stop there. Again, it's just stat edit, stat calc. All right, and you're looking at minimums and maximums.